Hello, how are we all? Good afternoon, I believe it is. Yes, 13th of December, 12 o'clock roughly, midday. Hello, sovereigns, brothers, sisters, system destroyers, trolls, shills, all humanity, all mankind. Hello, peace and love to one and all. I need to quickly update you all regarding the latest video that I did then and some interaction that I've seen. Fantastic as always to see your interaction, to see your comments, to see what you think, to see what you've got to say and what your positive and your negative comments are. So with regards to the comments I made about Darius the Persian, I apologise. What happened there was, there's more than me that run this channel, as you all know. You've met one of the guys in the background, one of the dead man switches. There are 5 dead man switches, FYI, minimum. And there are more than me that run this channel. So there's about, a collective of us. And I got told over the telephone, late at night, after I'd finished an 8-hour shift, that I need to watch the video that I've just uploaded and look at the comments, because there's a user called Darius the Persian, and what was said by one of the researchers of the channel of Indigo Child was he's commenting on all of your videos. So I stand corrected, and I am not a liar, and I can say with a clear conscience and on my soul, my word is my bond, as a man, as a private man, that yeah, I do tell the truth and I don't make stuff up. I make mistakes, and if I make a mistake, I'll say, hey, I'm sorry, that's got misinterpreted, or it's come out wrong, or it was a genuine blunder. So I heard at 10 to 1 in the morning, after an 8-hour shift, from one of my researchers, Darius, that you was commenting on all of my videos. So I misinterpreted that, and I'm making a video, an important video about the sovereign, declaration and independence, and the universal community trust, of which is formed an umbrella for other trusts to go in. So I've made a 1.5-hour video regarding a treaty, an international treaty, a declaration of sovereign independence. The whole content of that video was massive, and if all people can pick up, like yourself, is that I made a comment and I said, well, I only tell the truth, and that wasn't the truth, and you haven't commented on all of my, I don't even know how many videos I've done, approximately 101, 105, a lot for a year for me. How many have you made? I can't see one. So yeah, you can go on and you can criticise and you can attack and you can do whatever you need to do and try and pull me down, but David will bounce back. David doesn't take the negativity. I don't give my finite time to issues like this. So you must understand now, hence the title of this video, that a private express trust does not qualify as a statutory public, let me think. A statutory public trust is different to a private express trust. And a private express trust, a charitable trust, which is what we are in Sovereign Paralegals on the domain of Facebook, is exactly that. It's a charitable trust. So the key descriptive word there is trust. We are not a charity, which is why I haven't registered a charity. Or created a charity, because charities, in my opinion, don't have the greatest of reputations, do they? Let's go back to when I was 10 years old, 8 years old, 1988-ish, and yeah, 78, 88, Feed the World, Save the Children, Bob Geldof, give us your money. Well, we've been giving our money, and it turns out all the money wasn't going to help the people in Africa and the water, the food and things that we put it down for. So that's one example. Recently in 2015, 2014, there was a children's charity. There was a big mixed race lady that was in a lot of different multicolours with a crazy hairdo, and she'd been working in partnership with the government, and she'd been looking at obtaining funds for the government as a registered official charity, and lo and behold, what was happening? That charity was caught taking embezzling funds, using money for what it wasn't purporting for it to do. And this is a licensed charity, illegal. Would you believe, licensed charity? So you must understand the part that plays the key role as the settlor, and as you act as a settlor and in the private and you invoke equity. Well, that can't be done by a soulless entity or a fiction. So I didn't think I'd have to actually explain it and go into the, the as much detail as what I'm going to do here. But for the benefit of all the other viewers, because it's a learning curve, and what I don't want to do, and our group doesn't want to do, and the administrators, is give you it all spoon-fed. You need to go and think and question, ask questions, debate amongst yourselves, write comments, go and look at the books, the research, the citations that we say, the .gov. Documents, like when I've said I believe, in my opinion, that the Foreign Sitters Trust, and so do my admins and SPLs, the Foreign Sitters Trust is connected to the Certificate of Live Birth, and that's the all capital Dominicus, is it? Caps Dominicus, Foreign Sitters Trust, Certificate of Live Birth, COLB, Certificate of Live Birth, is housed in the catacombs of the Vatican. It's connected with the capital Dominicus name, all capital Dominicus. Then you have the birth certificate, which is done with the General Registry Office, and that is handing over your claim of right and your birthright, things like that, to the government, the Treasury, General Registry Office, and you get bonded. So there are two kinds of trusts running simultaneously here. You've got the all caps public, connected with your foreign sitters and the Vatican. Commercial, you know what that's used for: driving licenses, passports, bank accounts, treasury, direct, VAT, anything to do with finance and commerce. That's what we found out in the last 2 years. Thank you, Steve McRae, Santos Bonacci, Carl Lentz, all of my admins, the members of SPLs, other lawful groups that we've frequented and friends with, in partnership with, on Facebook and around the place. Your 1666 Sesto KV, that's the one that's tied in with the birth certificate. That's the one that's tied in with the monarchy, the treasury, and so you've got two running simultaneously. So you need to understand, understand, overstand, comprehend, choose the way that you would identify with the establishment. So with that said, the man is born, the womb man, the man or the woman is born. You are born with no legal persons at all. Zero legal persons. You are born and not birthed. And when you are born, and you are born at home, let's say, and you're not born in a hospital, in a military installation, and the mandatory protocols aren't carried out, it's a whole different process to to how the baby and the soul and the spirit, the Holy Trinity, are welcomed into this matrix, this reality. So when you're born in a hospital, there are different things done there. That's where the COLB comes from, the soul print, taking of the blood, things like that. You are born in a public military installation, if you like, a ward of the state. A doctor is there, the doc and the tor. You are docked, you dock a boat at the birthing canal, the baby comes down the birthing canal. A delivery room is where a product is delivered, not a baby. A baby is not a product, human soul. So you will not trade souls with birth certificates. We have the right, as private individuals, as private souls, to choose. We have the right of choice. We have the right to be informed, and ignorance is no defence, and that's where Indigo steps in. The admins, the team and the groups and the trust. We will set up a board of 13 trustees, 14 including myself, significant number for more than one reason, because it comes into the application of the rule of law in a court system with regards to setting up a grand jury of your peers. Also, they will serve as trustees. So I will not have the responsibility of anything, to be fair. The trustees will, and I will be one of them. Then there will be the beneficiaries, which are all the members in the group and the various platforms and private domain, which will be on splspro.com, still being built. So you can make your choices. We're not telling you anything. It's a free world. What we're doing is facilitating an infrastructure and a possible private network, and looking at how other sovereigns or free spirits have interpreted the legislation and the mandated code that's put upon your legal person, how to separate that mandated code, how to use, because people are saying it's fraud, and it is non-disclosure, and we don't have full disclosure. We don't have these things explained to us when we take up the IMF issued national insurance number, and we waive the right to use the private side and A4E bills of exchange. and you take up the national insurance number and you accept the privileges and the benefits of which paying the NI and tax and PAYE stuff like that is. So it is massive. And yeah, you know, we do summarise and we don't give it you all. We like you to go out there and do a bit of work, go and look at other speakers that we talk about, reference the you know, the books that we've said, where we've said about Gilbert's Trust summaries and the Green Book, CPR. Try and get 2015 onwards, 2016, get both volumes. This is what the barristers use, that's a Green Book. We've mentioned about the White Book, what the solicitors use and what's in there, how they compare, what's different. And so we end up back at public and private again. I don't want public liability. I don't accept public liability, and I haven't contracted for public liability. And if I want to contract for public liability, I will do so knowingly, and I will do so with a full conscience, and I will know what I'm doing and what the benefits are. And if I want to remain in the private and use my public person to accept the liability, then I will remain in the private, as I'm entitled to do so with my claim of right, birthright under the Creator. And then if I want to go and help these people intervene with anything, then I will go to them. There is a rule of law in England of which people aren't aware of, and we are waking up to the fact that such things like the Road Traffic Management Act do not apply to every sentient being on the landmass England. It applies to people, and it applies to people with personas, and we'll say that are commercing as a citizen, employee, subject, yeah, any kind of commerce, you know, that you're earning money for, that you are running a business, or you're in a public capacity. If you are not in that public capacity, and you're in a private capacity, then we would argue that we are not a citizen, employee, person, or subject of the above stipulation in that section of the Act. So therefore, if we are governed by consent, and we are sovereign, self-governing beings, souls, Holy Trinity, then we have a choice. And we either live in a free country, you're free to do what you want any old time, like the radio keeps pumping out, like we keep getting told, or we're not free and we don't have a choice. So we would like to know when and how we consent, and we have established that, and we know how we consent. We've looked at the small print, we've looked at the glossa, we've looked at the dogma, we've looked at the legalese, we've looked at the court, the London Temple BAR, we've looked at the Templar, we've looked at everything, and we believe that we have found the ultimate way of which to interpret the claims made upon you, and the notices that are made, how you would perform notices, what the protocols are and court procedures are for such things. And as Serge, the admins and various members have shown you over the last few months, that it is possible to deter the bailiffs, to get them turned away, as long as you are in honour, as long as you have got clean hands, things like that, and when you point out that the processes, protocols, or fees and things haven't been paid, or you know, that it's illegal, basically, that it's not carrying the correct paperwork, hasn't followed the correct protocol, notices haven't been given or can't be proved they're given, then we find that once you enforce that, which is law, not statute or code, this is to do with the at law level of which you would argue it, then we find that we have successful results in the claims made upon the legal person. So if you choose to act in the public, bottom line, Darius, and other people that are wondering about charities, money, tax, VAT, liability, fraud, deception, things like that, then you'd be very silly to come and make videos and knowingly commit fraud and record it, wouldn't you? This is not fraud. I bought t-shirts with my own taxed income. I set up a public fundraiser account and said it's for me, it's private, it's to get websites, and it's to get a vehicle for the first one on the road to show that we need to operate in a private network capacity within the rule of law, within our claim of right, our birthright, and we need to start asserting ourselves in this foreign, negative, hostile, predatory, cannibalistic way of life out there. Let's take the fact that it snowed recently, and all on the streets there's 3 to 4 centimetres of ice and snow. Now there's people out there walking on the street, outside people's houses, on a terraced road, and nobody's once bothered to come out and grit and clear their area of the path. Now, everybody in the landmass England that's a tenant, homeowner, whatever, if we all came out when it snowed and cleaned out that little 10-foot section of path, whatever it is, to 5 foot, you know, average, and we cleaned it, the path would be totally clean and nobody would suffer harm, injury and loss because we'd be managing it ourselves. We don't have to rely on the local arm of the government, namely the council, and pay all these taxes and revenues for them not to come out and not to grit the road, not to grit the path, not have the correct amount of salt for the areas of which need it, not to come out and collect your bins over Christmas because there's some kind of bank holiday disruption and the bin men can't come out and empty your bins, but everybody else that's a slave that's in servitude gets probably Christmas Day off and not even New Year's Day anymore because New Year's Day is a normal day. No, it isn't. It's a national bank holiday for which it's the first day of the beginning of the new year, and it's not religious in any way, but it's poignant enough to probably, you know, have it off if the banks are having a day off and not going in. And the commercial section isn't, and no, neither should the slaves and the, you know, the subjects, the jobs worths. So we don't have equality anywhere. We don't have any of the establishments and institutions helping follow this equality. We're having mass equality. We are finding out with regards to public claims that are being made that people are coming to the group and asking about how to get help with when the government obtains power of attorney and certain other courts are opened and things are done which are quite scary, to be fair. And once people start questioning the validity of such claims and the capacity and things like that, they get fobbed off and it's massive. So we are just a few people collectively, but if we all join up and get on the same page and work together and share the information and the knowledge and correct ourselves when wrong, look out for each other, stop using the governed routes of which you are aware of now. Here's an example. I saw a chat today in SPL's Facebook talking about constables, and when you're in the presence of officers, constables and police, we'll say all of them, you have the right to remain silent. If you do not remain silent and then you later wish to use something of which you rely on as evidence in court, it may not be used. Anything you do say may be used in evidence against you. Yeah, that's not perfect, but that's roughly, yeah. So let's just listen to that a minute. And you have the right to remain silent. But if you do remain silent and you say something later and you rely upon it in court, then it's not going to be listened to. And anything you do say may be used in evidence against you. So why would you talk to the police then with a statement like that? That contract doesn't seem very fair, does it? So you hear this all the time, and we've got cognitive dissonance, and we need to start cognising the actual private side that's out there for us, and that's why it's not so much fraud. When you understand the Foreign Sitters Trust, when you understand the Certificate of Live Birth, when you overstand inner stand and then comprehend it as well, because you have to go on a curve. You don't just get the penny drop straight away. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of chats, and that's where we help to come in and accelerate this for you with bona fide sourced and reference, and give you citations and books and teachers and courses and speakers and everything. So you know, you will get there, and once you get there you realise it isn't so much fraud and it's about the ignorance. And we are ignorant because we have too much in the form of entertainment, drinking, you know, stress. Once you finish work at the weekend, you know, when you're weak at the end of the week and you feel weak and you stress, you want to forget. Inflation is at 6 point something percent, but the what we get paid is 3 point something. So inflation is about 3 points above the actual cost of what we get paid. So the cost of living is 6% above what we get paid. I can't think of the word now because I just wanted to do a quick update about the recent comments I've had on the last video. So it's not fair, the system, and once you realise that the government operate for men, they operate in a capacity, no, not for men. That's why you keep seeing that they're not working for us. They operate for the citizens. So they abolished the slavery and they made everybody a citizen, and we got on board the citizenship. for part of their leadership. So anything that has these ships at the end, and we've explained about the prefixes and the suffixes of words, the etymology, the grammar, syntax, implied meanings and definitions, where the dictionaries are that we've used, the Black's Law, the Oxford, the Collins, the English language, the Babel, the legalese, and you go on about things, but we've exposed quite a lot, and we are helping to accelerate where you're at. And we do make mistakes, and I do make omissions and errors, and that's where your due diligence needs to kick in. And if you use it, you'll be knowledgeable enough to go, Dave, are you sure about that? Or you know, this one, I'm not. I think this way might work. Or you might have said 1988 when you mean 1998. It happens. So these are crucial key things to watch out for, and we explain it, we publicise it, and I'm not a criminal, I'm not defrauding anything, neither are my admins or the group. We are realising at a fast and rapid rate, a lot of us, a mass amount of us, that the sooner we move to the private and separate ourselves and express a private trust and correct the relationships, the misconstrued ones, then we are safer. Look at the description of this video. I've just gone online and got the most accurate, concise, shortest definition and explanation of a private express trust for you, Darius, and other people, men, brothers, sisters. So yeah, it's all good. Everything's going well. I'm not upset or offended. I do apologise to you, Darius. Information is handled at a vast rate, 8 hours a day in servitude, emails, text messages, phone calls, Facebook messages, private messages. It's just, I have a lot, I do a lot, and you know, I'm trying my best. So you didn't comment on all of my videos, like I said. That was an error. That was part of my admin team and me being tired. That's explained. We are not a charity. We haven't stolen any money. I've bought a car. I'm on my third website that we've built now, sovereignparalegals.uk. Sovereign Paralegals Pro is being built, so there's two that I promised and said that I'd do, and the first one didn't work out as it should have, so we're building a second one, so it's cost me more money, but that's the learning curve. You go on. The t-shirts were bought by myself, taxed and legal income for the legal person into the legal person's bank account through my sweat equity. Those t-shirts were paid for and bought via my legal person's bank transfer. I can prove that. Then whenever we got a donation to the express private account for the donations, which was publicly announced and detailed from the offset, what the funds were for, and it was for myself as a private man to use in a private capacity for this trust as a trustee and obviously settlor, grantor, kind of double position for my beneficiaries. I'm learning, I'm trying. If I've made a mistake and I've done some wrong, then I will correct that, rest assured. I haven't broken common law, yes, this is the also natural or common law, yeah, statute and code and all that, as we've explained, comes in as we've said. In my opinion, not fact and not legal advice. If you would like legal advice, I suggest you consult the Law Society and step in and have a 3-hour consultation with any high street solicitor. And you've got all the links on the other videos for everything that you need. It's going to be an excellent year review. I'm looking forward to that. I thank you all for your time, your patience, the 17 viewers. Let's have a look at the comments. Andrew Wilcox, hi mate, what's your advice on my landlord? Got Section 8 to remove me from his property. In need of advice. You have a great channel. Andrew Wilcox, I've got to get ready for servitude. It's 12:30. I can't get into this now. You can find all the help you need in the Facebook group, Sovereign Paralegals. If you're not on Facebook and you need advice, then to get advice, you're going to have to make up a quick profile, get in there, it's a private, it's closed group, so you need to request to be added. Use reference Indigo Child when you answer the 3 questions we've put up. The admins will assist you, and so will the members, and then I'll pick up upon it later on after work. David, flat spot. Look up Court of Queen's Bench of Alberta citation. Meads versus Meads. Got it. Up in the PDF. Loaded as a file. We know about this. 2012. Highly informative on how the legal system is out to shut common law down. Respect, David. We've got that all. Meads versus Meads was probably file number 20 uploaded into SPLs on Facebook back in 2016, early 2016. Baron Munro brought us that. Sorry to hijack your discreet from what you're talking about. Andrew Wilcox, it's all good. No, don't worry. Cheers, pal. Good luck. Honda, I don't understand none of it, but when it comes to critical matters of house repossessions and evictions, such comment will not suffice, but the comment does cause a falter in their system. Repossessions and evictions, they might be something to do with the fact that they have repossessions, mortgages and banks and high court writs and sheriffs and things. These are the ones that they show on Channel 5 on the TV on the Saturday night to scare you. The reason why they seem to go through like that and have the power, postman's here, and have the power that they purport to have is because when you are dealing with, I don't think anybody successfully won against a financial institution and or banks, to be fair. So we know about the CPS not having the correct evidence and not following the correct protocol, not having the warrants and stamps and all this, but yeah, we're on it, we're trying, we're making great waves, and we hear what you're saying. You could research the Tom Crawford and look at the Tom Crawford case on the internet and what they found out about what they've done, how they fought a repossession and they counterclaimed and stuff like that. Leah, love me, thank you. Thank you to you. When you thank me, you thank yourself. Keep up good work, I'm learning. Jar Purnell, Darren Hughes, Indigo, still waiting for Facebook to accept. Any chance, lad, I ain't a spy. Darren Hughes, what is your username for the group? What we do is we take time. It might take 24 hours to approve you. We just need to run some checks on the Facebook profile links when you were added to Facebook. If you've got any mutual friends, please answer the 3 questions. I'll have a look now then before I start getting ready for work. So yeah, unfortunately, Darius the Persian, I was hoping you would make an appearance and accept my apology for the confusion that was laid out there. He hasn't commented on all of my videos, but he's commented on 12, I do believe. I still haven't checked now, actually, because I don't let it bother me. I let my researchers and people tell me about the important things I need to know about, and the rest of the things I get to when I can. So yeah, Darius, that's all good then, and you understand we are not a charity. We don't need to be registered and operate in the public statutory side like that. A private express trust or a charitable trust is exactly that. There are lots and lots of types of different trusts, and any more questions or comments, yeah, leave them below. The channel, like I say, is not just myself. You've seen Matthew on the video from the other week. There are other people that we have, other, soldiers as we call them, and they help research. It's getting massive. We need to constantly strive for continuous improvement. So the continuous improvement, we need 13 trustees. If you want to put forward yourself to be considered for that position, we need to I want a good scattering of the country. I don't want everybody from like the same area for reasons of which we'll explain later, but we would like some standby trustees, anybody that's got connections with anybody in the public or government sector and things like that, such as the police, barristers, solicitors, paralegals, anything like that. What you must understand is these officers that wear these uniforms that purport to use the law to correct any breaches of the peace aren't necessarily conducting themselves. If you look at Crime Bodge, search Crime Bodge on YouTube, excellent, unbelievable quality there. He will tell you of all the infractions and the crimes that are committed whilst these officers and policy enforcers are out and about. So, but the bottom line is all these people that are going to be used to in the future to control and govern us, and the ones that are handing out these fines and forfeits, illegally, unlawfully, are our brothers and sisters and uncles and dads and things like that. So if you have got any family that is involved in any area of a legal profession, of a public service, civil area, then we do like to speak to these people, and we like to hear what they've got to say and how they interpret what we interpret, and how they view this and what's going on, and the fact that things are being privatised, pensions are being took off people. We have said before that we pity the state of the United Kingdom not England, but the United Kingdom's police force at the minute, the constables and the officers, were in dire straits. These guys are the ones we call 999 for when we're in an emergency. What the tax, your sweat equity and stuff, yeah, your tax goes to pay for that. This isn't being run correctly because they don't serve the man. They serve you in a legal, what's the word? You're a legal trustee, aren't you? So you are not the beneficiary and you are not the settlor. So that's how they get away with not serving you correctly, in our opinion, as we've found out under equity. You are allowed to use equity, as Matthew A said. Equity given to us by the Creator. We was given the gifts by the God, Creator, whatever you want to call it, and we've handed those rights over. We've handed them over, and we've explained how we think we've handed them over and how you would now manage yourself without committing personage, barratry, fraud, signing without liability, and managing your public, all caps, capitalist Dominicus, capitus Dominicus, Dominici, and your lowercase name, and how you'd invoke stuff and what capacity you do it in. It's very hard, and I haven't got it perfected. Some of my admins are very, very, very close. The A for E's going exceptionally well. The promissory notes and things like that, they're being explained by the courses that we've got going via the 7-day trial and the Wealth Education Guardian website that we promoted through Richard Ansar. Epic. I have a foreign trust, Leah Love. All right, you got a foreign trust. We all have, but what do you mean? Give me a comment and let us know what you mean by a foreign trust, because there are many. Are you on about the Sitters Trust? We need more good people like you and your team, honest, good people. Yes, J.A. Purnell. I'm a brother of all of you. I have children on this planet, ultimately. If I am to be wiped out tomorrow in a freak accident, I'd like to know that I tried my best to educate not just my children, but to have the knowledge and not to do anything. You are bad as the perpetrator and the oppressor. Violence only begets violence. History repeats itself. There comes a point where the penny drops. The government aren't giving us the correct avenues of education, the kind of forcing indoctrination. This is another great thing from the late, great Jack Fresco and Matthew A. again. Hiroshima, Japan, the atomic bomb. You know about that. I don't need to go into that, right? That situation there. Jack Fresco, Matthew A. mentioned that whilst watching the Jack Fresco lecture, he mentions that in there, America could have done this. Instead of going and dropping the atomic bomb full of nuclear radiation onto the landmass of Japan, onto the sovereign people, and doing that death and carnage, what they did, they could have gone and dropped it in the sea. And they didn't need to lace it with depleted whatever it was, and I don't know the chemical agent that was in there, but they didn't need to lace that either. They could have just split the atom in the sea, told them, look, we're going to send over a warning shot here, drop the atom bomb in the sea. Whoa, Japan's like, we haven't got one of them, we better listen to what they say. That would have been, Jack, we've talked about, not me and Jack, me and Matthew, about this issue raised by Jack Fresco, that would have been sufficient to probably have halt the situation and to warn them enough. But that didn't happen, did it? And how many of you have thought about that thought that, they didn't need to drop it on the land, they could have dropped it in the sea? We are programmed not to question things and not to question what's happened, and not to think in that context, because that we don't want us thinking. That's why you've got Amazon, Netflix, everything online, Bluetooth, Samsung screening, PlayStation 4, all the games on your phone, the stupid thing with the Pokemon, the way that the football is monitored and the sports system and that, the way that McDonald's and Coca-Cola and such other organisations get in there and fund these things. It's all corrupt from the top down, and when we say corrupt, it means it's backwards, and you put up with it. We allow it. We let the mandates through. We let the lobbyists in. We just don't have the backbone to competently argue and stand up without being arrested and getting violent. And that's what this is all about. It's about voicing your opinion, boxing clever, not getting violent and arrested and causing harm, injury and duress like they want, which will kind of usher in the New World Order, their New World Order. So we have a limited amount of time left. We are realising that fast. You are seeing what's happening on the news with foreign war policy, with all the fake news, with the attacks, with everything, with what we've brought to you and what we continue to bring to you. So peace and love, guys. Yeah, you are the channel. The channel, if it was just me, then there was no viewers, it wouldn't be very much cop. So the same with the Facebook group. The group is the members. All we do is oversee and try and give you the information you deserve, so you're duly informed. Once you're duly informed, you are then competent and cognitive enough to make a decision with a clear conscience to the benefits and the liabilities and the pitfalls of what you might or might not be doing. Yes, always reserve your rights in full. Life, Leah, Pernell, what's your thoughts on chemtrails if you have one? Yes, I've got photos. My thoughts are, why does the line stop and then carry on? That's what gets me. I've looked into that. I do believe that there are nanoparticles of metallic type objects in conjunction with the HARP systems that are running on around the world, the radio satellite things that they've got pumping up RF frequencies bouncing off the ionosphere. It just doesn't bear thinking about, but something's going off. Rotten to the core, the system. Yeah, the system isn't broken. It was designed broken. We now, after 1666, was something like 300 and something years ago, we've only just started to work out how to use the system, in what capacity, without public liability, with public liability, what equity is, what a trust is, what a relationship is, how to correct that misconstrued relationship, if it's a contract, if it's a constructed agreement, blah, 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 yeah. You watch Bruce Cathy on YouTube, ex-military, but talks of frequencies relating to nuclear weapon. Very interesting man, now dead. No, I haven't, but thank you, Honda. People need to be aware that common law is Queen's Bench Division, Admiralty jurisdiction, and common law is rights-based at Queen's Bench, where acts and statutes have no standing. Yes, David. Don't forget, what about this one? Don't forget the Court of Chancery. What do you think about that? The Court of Chancery. What do you know about the King's Court and the Court of Chancery invoking equity? Yes, you can go down to the King's Bench, Queen's Bench, and there is a fee that needs paying there as well. I ask because if you don't say stop, it's not against your will, so they can do as they like. Revoking the consent, revoking the authority, correcting the status. So, you're on about chemtrails. Yeah. It all comes down to good old common sense. Big respect to all researchers like yourself and me that spread the knowledge in our own way. So knowledge to the people. Alias 69. Yes, that's right. There is no guarantee of what we say will work, because if it's got an error in it, or you haven't done it properly, or you don't stand upon it, or you haven't got the correct resource book citations. It isn't about the coloured paper and the pens and stuff, but it is about following the honour system and how you communicate, and if you contract or if you don't contract. This stuff has been long time coming. There has been, like, the great John Harris speaking, and other such public speakers. I don't know which guys got you into the realm, but there are a lot of them across the ages, and they've done a phenomenal amount of excellent work. The British Constitution Group, I've been down to see them. I'm chatting with them, 5,000 members strong. The Lawful Rebellion Group, even though I've been kicked out by David Robinson and Ollie Pinnock, we've had a fallout, unfortunately. It can't be rectified, bridges can't be built. 12,000 members strong. They're doing a massive amount there, so there's a lot of people we got to give thanks for, but we were cross-mixing the jurisdictions, and when you mix jurisdictions, it's you failed. I can't get into that now because time is short. What's this thing called Queens? That's the bluff. Called Queen. Queen is a fictional title. Elizabeth, Elizabeth the name, and the Queen are fictional titles, aren't they? So she operates in the ward of the state. That is not the woman underneath it. Hello, dude. Thomas Hogg. Hey, morning, brother. Hello, afternoon. I've got to go. It's servitude time. Look up Llewellyn Taisog Siramu. God, I can't know if I said that right. I think you may find him interesting. I'll check these later. Dave, any talks coming up? Darren Hughes, yes, soon, January. We're getting on the case. We're getting stuff sorted for a seminar, Midlands or down south. King, Queen title given by inhabitants of the land. They rest on by their will that can change by knowledge. She had a coronation, didn't she? She was appointed. She was put into office, wasn't she? And she swore an oath, remember? Kissed a stone. Boom Fizz, good people. Yes, Rory McFizz. Lindsay of the Stainton family. 1616, King James I ordered Court of Chancery to overrule common law. Well done, Lindsay. 10 points to you. What? Yes. Afternoon, Rory McFizz. Right, people. Yes, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Darius, I've explained that. You know about this now. You've got a bit of research to do. Please, if you need assistance and help, get yourself a generic profile made on the Facebook for the time being until we've made splspro.com alive. Don't make profiles and stuff because it won't be actioned yet. And 2018 is going to be massive. We will be doing an end of year review. Yeah, between Christmas and the New Year, then we'll do it then, and we'll have a big live chat. So look out for the. I'll put some updates on for you, let you know in advance what day and time, so we can have a big YouTube family chat. I think Christmas get together, review the year in full, get some pens and paper, anything you want to review, ask questions about, see happen in the new year. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. So, epic. Thank you very much. Lots of love to each and every one, and watch out for shills and trolls. We won't swear. Thank you. Goodbye. Let's do it, guys.